Welcome everyone to the class of marketing research and analysis. Now previous classes we have been discussing about various tools such as multiple regression, then we discussed about the F distribution, the ANOVA basically, and how they are being used in the market by marketers for predicting something, for finding out some test some differences between two groups, something similar to that. But in the next in the just previous session we had started with an interdependence technique called factor analysis, which basically is used it is used to reduce a large number of variables into a few meaningful ones called factors basically, right. So, there we said that factor analysis is of two types, one called the exploratory factor analysis, okay, exploratory factor analysis, and the other being the confirmatory factor analysis. The exploratory factor analysis we had discussed is that which reduces the variables to a few meaningful factors, okay, and then here the factor loadings are calculated, right, the loadings are calculated which determines what amount of relationship exists between a variable and a certain factor, okay. After that we also discussed how in a exploratory factor analysis we rotate the factors to generate a very proper or very a good nice distribution, so that the variables are not loaded into one factor, but they are distributed across to several factors, right. So, this to have a good nice distribution we did factor rotation, which is, for example, we said about orthogonal rotations where we assume that the variables are uncorrelated. On the other hand, we had an oblique rotation where we said that the variables have some degree of correlation among them, right. So, after doing a factor analysis we then came out with the factors, and then we thought of how could we use those factors for our further studies. So, first stage was to determine the factors which we had done, okay, determine the factors, and then in the second stage we said how do we use these factors, how do we use these factors. So, to do that I explained that there are two things, one called factor scores, right, and something called summated scale, right. So, by the help of a factor score or summated scale method we can use the factors, the values derived from each factor. Let us say there are 4 factors F1, F2, F3, F4, and use them, treat them as variables and use them for some kind of a predictive modeling in like a multiple regression, okay. So, that was the basically what we had determined, what we had discussed. There we had also yes, the second part, that was the first part, which is called the exploratory. The second part being the one which is called a confirmatory factor analysis. Now, why it is called a confirmatory factor analysis? If we see, the purpose remains the same, right, like in a factor analysis our purpose was to find out the loadings between the variables and the factors, right. So, what amount of simply correlation, basically what amount of correlation existed between the variable and the factor, that was of prime importance to us. And in case we found that certain variable was loading onto several factors which we say as cross loading, then that was a problem, to us. One more thing was, in the exploratory factor analysis we were not assuming any relationship between the error terms, let us say E1 and A2. So, we are assuming that there is no relationship between the error terms in the exploratory factor, but in case of a confirmatory factor, which we are going to now discuss, is that a confirmatory, as the name suggests, that the researcher already has got a prior knowledge, he has got a prior knowledge about the construct and the variables, right. So, he already knows ki which variables will make up to a factor or which variables together will load on to a factor and what exactly this, right. So, what they are trying to say here is in case of a confirmatory factor analysis, let me do it like this. So, I know I am not exploring anymore like in exploratory. I know that suppose these are the two factors, each factor has got certain variables. So, I know that these variables are related to the construct due to certain theoretical foundation. That means, by prior knowledge, from prior knowledge I know that a variable, the variable is connected, for example, this is satisfaction. So, satisfaction could be let us say by good score, right, nice food, right, tasty food, travel. So, these are leading to let us say satisfaction suppose. So, then I know that because of this relationship exists, I am only doing one thing, I am trying to confirm that whatever I have thought as a researcher, my thought is correct, right. So, if the loadings of the variables are sufficiently high onto the factor, then we confirm our thinking that we confirm that our thinking is correct, that our approach is correct, and this is what we do in a confirmatory factor analysis. Okay. So, this is what basically starts with, right. So, the entire thing, but let us go slow, we will start with something called when you have a multiple, now this is a case coming up slowly where multiple relationships are coming up, right, and they need to be tested, right, multiple relationships are coming up and they need to be tested. So, in case when such an event happens, where you have multiple relationships, for example, you can think what should I do when let us say such a relationship exists, suppose starts, let us say happiness leads to productivity, happiness leads to productivity leads to larger bonus. Okay. Now, this is a kind of relationship that I am trying to determine or I am trying to check. So, here there is a problem that I am having multiple relationships. Now, here A was behaving as an independent variable and B as a dependent variable, and then again they are reversing their signs or reversing their the job that they are doing. Basically, the dependent is becoming independent and vice versa. So, let us see what is this SCM, this method where you have several variables coming together, that is called as, it's very likely like it works like a multiple regression where you try to create several equations for the different dependent variables, right. So, let us see what is this SCM and why it is I am connecting SCM and SCFA. Okay. So, as it says, structural equation modeling is a family of statistical models. Basically, in my earlier classes also I must have said that structural equation modeling basically comprises of three important things: 1, the factor analysis; 2, the regression analysis; 3, there is an element of the chi-square, right, the chi-square value which is highly used in structural equation modeling to test the goodness of fit of a model, which I will explain later on. So, it says a family of statistical models that seek to explain the relationships among multiple variables. So, you had multiple variables, let us say these are a construct can also be a variable, right. So, if I am taking a summated scale for example. So, now I am saying there is a multiple relationship. Okay. To do so, it examines the structure of the interrelationships expressed in a series of equations similar to a multiple regression. These equations depict all the relationships among the constructs involved in the analysis, right. So, which we have discussed out there. And what did I say? The constructs are unobservable or latent variables, as you can see here. So, the constructs are latent factors or unobservable, as I had explained earlier, that it cannot be directly measured, but it is measured through some number of some items or some variables, right. So, a construct can be measured by 4 items, 3 items, 5 items, 10 items. So, one has to be careful that sometimes researchers take very few items to measure a construct. That is not a very good thing, right. If you take very few items, there is a fear of an under identification of a model. That means the model will not explain itself well. So, that is a very not so wise thing to do. All the time a researcher should try to have minimum 3 and 4 or above number of items to explain a construct, right. Okay. So, what are the distinguishing features of SCM? What is SCM all about, right. So, as it says, multiple and interrelated relationships. So, you have multiple and interrelated relationships. It represents the unobserved concepts, the unobserved constructs. These are the constructs for measurement error. Now, when I am talking about SCM, there are 2 important things which are to be discussed. We will go one by one. One being the measurement model, which we will talk about, and then we have something called a structural model, right. So, what are we talking about? First, we are talking about a measurement model, and then we talk about a structural model. Okay. So, the measurement model is where you are measuring whether the constructs are valid enough or not. Now, that is what is the job of like a factor, it is very close to the factor analysis, exploratory factor. Only difference being here that you know what you are doing, and in exploratory you did not know what you were doing, that is the only difference, right. So, it represents unobserved concepts and corrects for the measurement error, right. If there is any measurement error, then it corrects for it. Defines a model to explain an entire set of relationships. So, now this entire set of relationships, finally let us say it is not only happiness, but happiness and let us say satisfaction, okay. Let us say 2 different, they are together explaining, right. So, now this could have, there could be a direct effect, there could be an indirect effect also, and in this case we can see that there is a element of an indirect effect which is present in this model, right. So, in such a condition in just doing a multiple regression will not be effective, right. So, in order to avoid that situation, we use structural equation modeling, okay. So, latent constructs basically are in the case of SCM, we use this term exogenous and endogenous constructs. These are nothing but this is similar to the independent and the dependent variables, right. So, exogenous constructs are multi-item equivalent of the independent variables, right, and endogenous constructs are the latent multi-item equivalent of the dependent variables. So, what you are talking about in normally we talk about the independent and the dependent, the same becomes is called as the exogenous construct in the case of a SCM and CFA, and the dependent is known as the endogenous construct in this case, okay. Now, let us look at this case. Now, let us look at this case. If you can see now this slide, the exogenous construct here has got 4 variables, right, and the endogenous construct also has got 4 variables, right. So, these arrows that you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, this relationship is termed as the loadings. Now, I had explained earlier that loadings are the correlation among between the variable and the factor in case of exploratory. The same rule applies, the same concept applies here also, okay. And then we have something called a path estimate. This path estimate represents the relationship between constructs as beta in regression analysis. In regression analysis we were using the unstandardized or standardized beta, which to to understand the effect, the coefficient, the estimates. The same thing we are using here, and this is this one, this arrow that you see between the two constructs from the exogenous to the endogenous. This estimate is nothing but the called the path estimate. Okay. Several types of relationships are also involved in SCM. This is one that I showed you. Let us see some of the relationships. The first relationship that you can see here, a relationship between a construct and a measured variable. Okay. You need to, before you go there, you need to remember one thing. When this is for testing SCM, we use mostly a software called AMOS, which is called the analysis of moment of structures, or Lizarel. These are the two I know I use, but mostly I use AMOS, right. So the model, when we are building the model, you need to remember something. A construct, this is denoted or represented by an ellipse, an ellipse, or you can say an oval or something, right, and a variable is represented by a rectangle. Okay. So these two things you need to remember. Okay. So when I am saying that a construct is affecting the variable, right, a relationship between a construct and a measured variable. This is the case. This is a case of a exogenous or an independent, or this is a case of a dependent. Okay. Another case is a relationship between a construct and multiple measured variables. Now multiple measured, for example, now this one has got 3 variables x1, x2, x3. Okay. Now these 3 are getting affected by the exogenous construct. Okay. Now these are two types of relationships, one in which you can see that the arrow is moving from the construct to the variable. Now when the arrow is moving from the construct to the variable, this is one kind of a relationship. Another kind of a relationship can also happen in which the reverse happens, okay. That means what, sorry. In this case what happens, suppose this is the variable and this is the reverse would happen. That means in this case the variable is affecting the cause is the construct, and the variable is the independent variable, you can say, right. But in this case it is different. This is called a reflexive construct, reflective you can say, and this is called a formative, reflective and formative. Okay. So now let us look at this. Now the second case is over. The third case, you can see that there is a relationship between the two constructs. Now we are saying construct 1 is affecting construct 2, right. Okay. The fourth case is there is a covariance relationship. Now this is a correlation, this is a unidirectional, you can see, and this is a covariance structure. Now we say SCM is a covariance structure. Basically in SCM the model that we the model which we build in SCM is basically applies a covariance structure or a covariance matrix, right. So here what is happening is both the constructs are affecting each other, right. So if you look at these 4 cases, then out of this 3 are called the measurement model, right, and one of them is called a structural model. Now what is the structural model? First let me explain to you. This is a structural model. A structural model is one where the researcher is basically testing a set of relationships, right. So his intention is to measure the relationship which how it affects and tries to determine the path estimates, and from there he can come to some kind of a conclusion or an inference, which is not done in case of a measurement model. In the measurement model the only intention lies in establishing a fact that the variables identified are actually measuring the construct, that is all, right. So, in measurement model we say that the variables are actually measuring the construct, and in the structural model we say that there is a relationship and we are trying to find that relationship among the constructs. Okay. Now, this is very important. Now, what does SCM basically do? Students and researchers always talk about SCM and then they do not understand actually what is the basic underlying intention behind it. SCM basically explains the observed covariance among a set of measured variables. What it does is, it does so by estimating the observed covariance matrix with an estimated covariance matrix, right. So, there is, that means what? We build an observed matrix, right, covariance matrix, and we calculate an estimated or expected covariance matrix, and then we always want that the difference between the two models should be as minimum as possible. If there are minimum differences existing, that means what we observed and what we expect are coming to be more or less the same. Okay. The closer they are, the better the fit, right. So, I am sure this words when I am telling the word observed and expected, something else must be coming to your mind. Something like, if you remember, we had earlier discussed about observed minus expected square divided by expected. What was this? This was nothing but the chi-square, right. So, as I said in the beginning of this session also, in this class also, that in the factor in a structural equation modeling, chi-square becomes one of the most important things, right. It is used as an important tool. Now, if your chi-square value is more, it will be more only when either the difference between observed and expected is large, or expected becomes a very low value. In that case only the chi-square can become larger, right. And if observed and expected the difference is larger or expected is less, very less, then automatically we will understand that there is a significant difference between the observed and the expected model. So, and that is what we do not want. It is we do not want, because we do not want that there should be a too high a difference between the observed and the expected. Rather, we would like, in the case of SCM, a low chi-square value. A low chi-square value is a better fit, right, and a high chi-square value is a poor fit rather, right. So, SCM what it says is, no model should be developed for use with SCM without some underlying, this is very important. Now, one of this point says that, if you understand, many a times researchers, while doing a research, they do something without properly utilizing any logic, right. Most of the time, I am not trying to blame researchers, but I have seen many a times people doing PhD or people doing some kind of for a haste of getting a publication or something, they try to fit in variables, right. They try to fit in create some unknown relationship among the constructs, right. See, if you put it in a software, and the software will surely give you some result, but that is not how SCM is done. The basis of SCM is always and always an underlying theory. If only there is a theory underlying, or the theory might not have been built also, it is okay if it is not developed, but still if you feel this could be a new theory that can develop, still it is a good thing, it is a very good thing in fact, right. Suppose after experiment or after discussion you have come to a conclusion that, well, this should be a new way of a new theory that can emerge, in that case also it is nice. But if you are not having anything in mind, when I have why I am trailing this is that I have seen people doing like such things, like for example, what they do in some cases is, they suppose this is A, this is B, and there is suppose while doing this they do not get a good result, they will just change it B and A without the proper understanding, because your understanding cannot change all the time, right. So, that is why it is called a confirmatory. You are trying to confirm what there is, the theory that you have read or you want to prove, Okay. So, this is very wrong, this is a very wrong way of doing thing. So, you need to have, so whenever you face you do something, the you should be always asked ki what is the underlying theory behind, why did you do SCM. So, that should be the first question asked to any researcher, and if the researcher is in a position to answer ki why he has created this model, then only he should be allowed to go ahead. Otherwise, a researcher should be stopped from using SCM without any proper thought process. Okay. So, measurement model and structural model, which I had just explained, right. Models can be represented visually with a path diagram. So, this is the visually, this is, you can see this is a path diagram, right. The dependence relationships are represented with single headed directional arrows. So, if there is a dependence relationship, that is A is dependent on B, A affects B, in that case we have a single arrow. Now, this is a case of a single arrow, right. So, A affects B, but what if there are two relation, if the relation is bidirectional, or you can say both of them are affecting each other. So, it is a case of a correlation or covariance relationship that is existing, right. So, a correlation or covariance relationship is existing, and this is what we do is when we make any that is why we say it is a covariance structure, right. That means, if let us say these are the two constructs, so we say that these two constructs, because we do not know, they are latent constructs. So, we will say that both can affect each other. Okay. Okay. How do you define the individual constructs? That is a important thing. So, to define the individual constructs, you first have to, as I said, you have to go with a theory, right. You have to operationalize the constructs, you have to understand ki what are the constructs, what is the basis of this construct, why this construct is required, and what variables are would affect this construct, right. If there is a need only, you can develop a construct, right, and then when you do, you have to back it by sufficient literature and research. Then you can either use a new scale also, no issues, but many a times when it is a confirmatory factor, we say, which we are going, we will see that scales from prior research can also be utilized, or even I can say they are largely utilized, because already the scale has been confirmed, has been validated, has been tested somewhere else. So, if you are a researcher who is trying to use this particular construct for some other study maybe, but theoretically it has to be sound. So, in that case the scales from prior research can be taken, and then they can be again checked for validation, right. Or as I said, a new scale can also be developed. I always appreciate if you can develop a new scale and validate it, because that is like adding knowledge to the adding more to the adding something to the body of knowledge, you are contributing to the knowledge base, right. Then after this, the construct needs to be pre-tested. Okay, that means you need to test whether the construct is valid, whether the variables are loading onto the construct properly or not, because if the variables, suppose you have taken 5 variables and these 5 variables are not loading onto the construct, one of them is not loading to the construct, then there is no point in keeping that variable. Or if you find there is a case of cross loading coming up, then that is extremely dangerous. Okay. So, well, what we will do is we will start now. Once you have understood this basics, then we will get into, first we will get into the measurement model. The two parts of it is the measurement model and the structural model. So, in the measurement model, what we talk about as the confirmatory factor analysis, right. We will see how a construct is checked for a measurement error, right, and how the constructs are checked or validated. Once the validation is over, then the researcher can move on to the next stage where he can test the relationships, right, as given in the structural model. So, these are the two parts of SCM, one the confirmatory where we measure the model, and then the next the structural the next part where we check the structural model, where we check the relationships, right. So, we will do it in the coming session. Thank you very much.